Hello and welcome back to All of Us Are Poets. I'm Collie. Today we're going to be talking about rhyme. Rhyme is the repetition of the same or similar sounds, whether vowels, consonants, or a combination of these, in one or more syllables, usually stressed and occurring at determined and recognizable intervals. Let's read a few poems, shall we? I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, while all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of the bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not be but gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. Alright, so that is a rhyming poem, obviously. It doesn't have AAA rhyme scheme because no one should use AAA rhyme scheme. Now let's talk about what that means. So generally when you're looking at a poem, you can define the rhyme scheme as having certain endings to certain sentences. And the way you do this is that the first ending rhyme you assign A, and the next ending rhyme B, and so on. And some poems just have A, B, C, and you can go as high as you need to. So with I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, and you can follow along on the link, it goes cloud, that's A, hills, B, crowd rhymes with cloud, so it's A again, daffodils, B, trees and breeze are both C, because it is a rhyme ending that we have not seen before. Shine is new, so that's a D, way, we don't have an AY, no. Way will be E. Line rhymes with shine, so D. Bay, E. Glance and dance, F and F. Now you can go through a whole poem like this, but the entire poem follows this structure. You would get G, H, G, H. So this is quite a simple poetic rhyming structure. Wordsworth was a romantic. He wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel. The romantics like to use simple structures. And if you know anything about meter, you'll also notice that meter is at work in this poem, which again, the romantics were fond of. And generally, traditionally, rhyme was used to hold together poems that had an even number of feet. But if you don't know a lot about meter, don't worry about it. We will talk about meter in a future video. That said, and this is my personal thing because I honestly find rhyming in most contemporary poems incredibly grating. If you're not doing it for a very specific purpose, I don't ever recommend rhyming. That said, we are still going to write a poem today with rhyme for no particular purpose. Generally, the point of rhyme is to make a poem sound sing-song, like a sonnet or a nursery rhyme. And if that's not what you're going for, it's generally to be avoided, or to be used very minimally. But I'm not going to tell you how to write poems. That's just my strong personal belief. All right, our second poem is going to be Pied Beauty by Gerard, Manley, Hopkins. Glory be to God for dappled things, for skies of couple color as a brindled cow, for rose moles all in stipple upon trout that swim, fresh fire-cold chestnut falls, finches' wings, landscapes plotted and pieced, fold, farrow, and plough, on all trades their gear and tackle and trim, all things counter, original, spare, strange, whatever is fickle, freckled, who knows how, with swift, so sweet, sour, a dazzle dim, he feathers forth whose beauty is past change, praise him. So this poem has a rhyme scheme as well, and we'll plot it out because this is a little shorter and it doesn't use the same essential scheme every stanza. So dappled things will be A. Cow, B. Swim, C. Wings goes with things, so that's A. Pieced is going to be D. Plow goes with cow, so that's B. Trim goes with swim, so that's C again. I'll think strange. Here's the thing about finding a poetic scheme. It's very straightforward, but you do have to double check that you're not just assigning new letters because you forgot the rhyme. Okay. I apologize. Strange is going to be E. How goes with cow, so it's B again. Dim goes with swim, so it's C. Change goes with strange, E. And him goes with swim again, so C. So the rhyme scheme for Pied Beauty is ABC, ADBC, EBCEC. Hopefully this gives you the impression of how complicated rhyme schemes tend to be in more traditional poems at the very least, and the fact that it doesn't have to be couplets or even bracketed. You can play around with the rhyme so that it has the cadence that you want. Alright, hello again. I knocked over my phone and stopped recording, so I am already halfway through my 5 minutes, but I'm going to start them again for you and just sit here, I suppose, and think about meter. Contemplate my mistakes. And that is 5 minutes for you, and who knows how many for me. I was worried about meter too much to write very much. That's what happens when you overthink, which I think you should always do with one. Alright, here we are. Every winter is the coldest that I think I've ever seen. This is not a castigation of the season, nor a hate for wintry scenes. I have ever loved the snowdrift, just as I have loved the green. As you can see, even though I didn't go for a very tight rhyming scheme, it still feels a little sing-song. I chose to do a nature poem just because Wordsworth and Hopkins were both nature poets, and so I wanted to lean into that, especially since New York is buried at the present moment. As you can see, I did an A, B, C, B, A, B rhyme scheme, which has enough variation so as not to feel too repetitive to me, but still holds together quite well. I did also pay attention to meter, but you needn't think about that. As usual, I would love to see your poems in the comments, and thank you so much for being here. Last time I think I said something about hating Blake. I also have no respect for Wordsworth.